Well, hello peeps, this is a Hillbilly Halfwit. How are you today? And we're doing another video about really the attack on white working class men at the moment, and boys and brothers and grandfathers. And the reason I'm talking about this again, I talked about it, I think it was about 2 days ago when I saw that thing on Netflix. Basically, it's the same cast as This Is England, having a go at calling everybody right wing who's a white guy, and making out all white guys are rapists and that sort of thing. We've obviously got a bit of a government-led nudge unit sort of thing happening here, because I just was watching Jeremy Vile before. It's all over there. It was on Prime Minister's Question Time yesterday. I won't mention the programme because last time they basically what's called my video. I really think it's an organised attack on the white working class bloke. If you go and look at the statistics, the biggest gang violence against women is in gangs from other ethnic races, not from white guys. Most of the crimes that white guys do, from what I understand, is robbing houses. That's from what I understand. Most of the stabbings that happen around the UK are done by other ethnic groups. I think white groups do as much shoplifting, but by far the most dangerous, violent stabbing crimes have come from other ethnics, not white people. So why have they decided to pick on the white working class guy? Now, I've been making this observation for quite a while. I think they've decided to try and attack him. The state has. So they're trying to get this film shown in schools. So they've obviously put funding into it. I'd love to see where the funding for this film came from, because it's got to have come from some government body. And like I said, This Is England lot are in this as well, and they did the same thing last time, if you don't know what that was. Basically, everybody that liked a certain type of music or whatever was a complete raving right-wing lunatic, which of course they weren't. And somebody like me, who just believes in being happy and telling the truth, is also classed as that now, I suppose. And everybody in my area, it's really bizarre. If you went to a school, why would you automatically assume that all the boys are horrible people? It's I think what it really is at the heart of it, the state are trying to take over people's children. That's what I think is at the heart of it. They're trying to feminise any fight out of every person who was in the UK. Because if you notice, most of the people who talk back against all this propaganda we see seem to be maybe like me. And that's looked at as a bad thing these days for some reason. And then, you know, like I say to you, I'm quite anti-war as I get older. But if you're anti-war now, that's looked at as being right-wing for some reason. If you don't want to take money off pensioners or the poor in society, that's looked at as being right-wing. So you've got a Labour Party now, supposedly left-wing in government, taking more off the poor in society and wanting to go to war than the previous government. Let that sink in. So, God knows. Like I tell everybody, I suppose I'd be classed as centre-right now, but my views are exactly the same as I was when I was in my 20s, and that's what Tony Benn was. And David Blunkett, I got all the same views as David Blunkett, to be quite honest with you. He's not a far-right person. I don't understand what's happened in the UK. It's like we've got a academic-led state trying to force their opinions on us at the moment, especially since 2016. I think everybody got so miffed that the public got their vote for once in their life. We know what that was. That they decided to go all out and maybe call each other names and put them under the heel. I don't know. It's sad to see. Like I tell you all, always have been quite a liberal person, and I think the individual has the right to do what they want, as in within the law. And when I grew up, and everybody I was in school with, you had the ability to go wherever you wanted. Parents weren't like they are now, telling you what to do all the time. You know, I've told you before in some of my tales what I used to do when I was a teenager. Go riding my motorbike over to my grandfather's over that hill there, 10 miles away, on my own, when I was 10. It's like the usual thing in society. You get paedophiles and you get rapists, and instead of putting them in prison and giving them half sentences, they sentence the population to keep out of sight, because they blame the population's men. It's the bad people you need to be blaming. It's a very easy situation to sort this all out. When you catch the people that are doing these things, like stabbing people, simply put them into the slammer for 5 to 10 years automatically. Now, I'm old enough to know pretty much every election I've been through, they've said there's a 5-year prison sentence for somebody holding a knife, and then when they get in, they never do it. So that's what the problem is. And then you have a program that they're pushing at the moment. It's all written. It's not an ounce of truth in it. It's not based on any fact, as far as I can see, having a pick on one section of society. So we all know gang violence is the problem in the UK. That's why most people are afraid to go to cities, especially girls walking around at night. Now, when I was, 18, I used to go with a girl in Manchester, and I'd only really been around this area. So I used to travel up there on the train. So when I go to Manchester, I used to go to, is it Piccadilly Station? So I go on a train from Landrindod to Shrewsbury, then I change and sometimes I go straight through, but sometimes I go to Crewe and then change to go to Manchester. And then when I come back on a Sunday, sometimes the trains were so knackered and weren't running on time, you had to go a different route. So they'd send you, instead of going from Manchester to Shrewsbury, you'd have to go on these back route trains. Man alive, they were dangerous. Absolutely frightening. And I was a bloke in my 18, and I am about 6 foot. And I remember going on this train once where they had carriages on that were blocked off. And there was me and there was this girl in the front. And then we stopped at one station and all these lads got on. Fucking hell. I tell you what, it was scary for me. God knows what it was like for them girls, because they were all pissed. And you couldn't go into another carriage because you couldn't walk through these carriages. And I remember thinking to myself, what are you going to do if this kicks off here now? And I genuinely was scared. I'm not going to lie about it. It's one of them times in my life where I didn't know what the hell to do. So thankfully, on the next stop, the girl got off. And but they were starting to have a go with her. So thankfully she got off, and that was it. But it's scary times when you've got gangs of people going around like that. I don't think the single ones you don't watch out for. It's the gang violence. Walking around the UK at night is almost impossible in certain areas of the UK. And I'm not just picking out one race of people. We all know what we're talking about. You can't go into Peckham or the other areas. If you're from that area, you'll get stabbed. That's what the problem is in the UK. If you're from Peckham, for instance, and you go into your next borough and you're perceived as being from there, you will get stabbed. That's what's happening in the UK. We have got a gang violence problem. And instead of picking on that problem, they're picking on the very people who, under their own figures and facts, haven't done anything. I think I read somewhere the other day that the last 21 terrorist attacks have all happened from that minority that we know that it happens with all the time. no white Caucasian people has been involved. So the last 21 attacks in Europe. So that seems like the problem to me. So why pick on the only section of society is trying to do their best, really? They're having a tougher time in school. Everything on TV is having a go at them. The young lads. The suicide rate has gone through the roof on young boys and middle-aged men. You know, when you go to, if you have a divorce or something and you go to court, automatically the man is the bad person, can't see his kid. It's horrible, absolutely horrible. Yeah, it really is. Like I said, the more I look at it now, the more I hear it's horrible. And I feel sorry for all you lads who are growing up at this time, because I know when I was a teenager, it was a job to go through it all, because, you know, you get drunk and you say things you shouldn't have said, and then the next time you see them, you apologised or whatever, and that's how life is, really. But these days, there's none of that. None of that. You make a mistake these days, and your life is over. It's a shameful thing. It is a shameful... And it's shameful how they're picking on this one section of society. That's what I think it is. The state is trying to take over the education, the feeding, and what they're putting in the heads of your children. That's what's happening. Because I believe even this free school meals is that. They've started to want to put free school meals in all schools. I think what is happening, they are going to get to a point in the next year or two where they're going to say no meat is going to be served on these days to try and brainwash you into not eating meat. That's the next thing. So this will probably be demonetized, I know, but I am firmly of the opinion 98% of people in society, especially from the white working class male, are no problem to anybody. And it's always been the same. There's always been a section of people in society, in all races, who are males, who do the same old shit. And what needs to happen is they should give them tougher sentences. Personally, that's the only way to solve it. So it looks like if you actually are from one side of the political debate these days, you're automatically a bad person, even though you aren't. When in reality, like I said, my views are the same as Tony Blair, not Tony Blair, not that twat, Tony Benn and David Blunkett. My migration views are the same as David Blunkett. And it's unreal. But there we are. So Gaza's a bit sad about this. That's why I put this up, because I can see now it's obviously a propaganda thing. So I'd say to you young lads, it's not your fault, lads. The state, for some reason, is picking on everybody. And we're all the bad people just because we say our minds. That's the problem. People don't like the truth anymore. So please comment, rate and subscribe. It's always nice to chat with you about things like this. All the best, Gaz.